My name is Sophie Martin, and today was my first day at Rich Tech Solutions, a software development firm nestled in the heart of central London. But it wasn't just another first day. It felt like standing on the edge of something vast and unknown, a mixture of excitement, nerves, and cautious hope swirling in my chest like tangled threads pulling in different directions. I'd spent months preparing for this. Countless interviews, emails, sleepless nights filled with anxious thoughts and quiet dreams. Getting this job felt like the culmination of everything I'd been working toward. And yet, as I stood in front of the towering glass building that housed Rich Tech, I felt like a small piece in a very large, fast-moving machine. I smoothed the front of my cream-colored blouse, adjusted my pencil skirt, and clutched my brown leather handbag tightly, almost like it could shield me from whatever uncertainties awaited inside. The lobby was a hive of quiet energy. Professionals moved with purpose, heels clicking on polished floors, suits pressed sharp as blades. The scent of freshly brewed coffee drifted from a cafe in the corner, grounding me momentarily. A sleek, well-dressed receptionist greeted me with a courteous smile, handed me a visitor's pass, and directed me to the lift headed to the 17th floor. When the elevator doors slid open, I stepped into what looked less like an office and more like a spread from an interior design magazine. Gleaming glass walls, clean minimalist desks, soft greenery arranged with care. It was stylish, modern, and frankly, intimidating. I was told I'd be meeting the managing director, Blake Harrison. Rumors whispered around his name. Brilliant, intimidating, and, according to some, impossibly good-looking. A man who carried control like a second skin. When I entered his office, I paused in the doorway, breath catching slightly. He looked up from his laptop, eyes locking with mine. He was tall, clean-shaven, dressed in a navy blue suit that looked tailor-made to every sharp line of his frame. His hair was slicked back with precision, his jawline angular, and his icy blue eyes held a quiet intensity. "You must be Sophie," he said, his voice smooth, unhurried. "Welcome to Rich Tech." "Thank you, sir," I replied, doing my best to keep my voice steady. "Drop the sir. Just Blake is fine," he added, a faint smile tugging at his lips. "I prefer to keep things personal." I smiled back politely, unsure if this was simply his style, or something else entirely. He began walking me through what was supposed to be a brief orientation, but the air between us shifted quickly. His posture, the way he leaned in slightly, closer than necessary, how his gaze lingered just a second too long, left me wondering, was I imagining it? Or was there something more behind his carefully controlled exterior? At one point, I stood near the floor-to-ceiling glass wall, gazing out at the sprawling skyline when his voice came from just behind me. "You strike me as someone who follows direction." I turned, startled by the proximity. My heart skipped. "Well, I try my best." "I bet you do," he murmured, voice lower, heavier. "If you ever need anything at all, don't hesitate." His meaning hung in the air, unspoken yet not unclear. I nodded, cheeks warm, and made my exit faster than intended. That night I tossed in bed, unable to stop replaying the moment. Was he flirting? Or was that just how powerful men carried themselves? Was I reading into something that wasn't there? Or missing something that was? In the days that followed, his attention intensified. He'd call me to his office for minor things. Simple updates, status checks that easily could have been sent via email. Each time, his presence seemed to loom just a little closer, his gaze more intense. Then one evening everything shifted. He asked me to stay late and help finalize a report. The office was quiet, nearly empty, shadows stretching long against the glass. Just the two of us. I typed as he dictated, but his eyes weren't on the screen. They were on me. "You're clever," he said quietly. "And stunning." Froze. "Blake, that's not appropriate," I said, trying to sound composed. He moved around the desk slowly, stopping just beside me. His face was close. "Too close. Don't pretend you don't feel it," he said. "I see the way you look at me." "I don't." But before I could finish, he kissed me. It was warm, deliberate, and shockingly gentle. My body froze, but I didn't pull away. My heart thundered with confusion. And something else I wasn't ready to name. When he finally pulled back, I stood quickly, breathless. "That was unexpected," he whispered. "But you didn't hate it." I left his office shaken, uncertain. I couldn't stop replaying that kiss. Should I report him? Leave? Pretend nothing happened? Or admit that I hadn't wanted it to stop? The next morning I walked in trying to appear composed. But he was waiting. "Sophie," he called as I passed his door. "Got a minute?" I hesitated, then stepped inside. He shut the door behind me. Quietly. Before I could speak, he kissed me again. Low. Intentional. Passionate. His hands cradled my face like I was something delicate. This time I didn't hold back. I wanted it. "I've tried to ignore this," he whispered against my lips. "But there's something about you. I can't shake it." "And work?" I asked, barely catching my breath. "We'll figure it out," he said. "Just tell me you feel it too." I stared into his eyes. And finally I nodded. Later that week we met in the parking basement. The tension was unbearable. He pulled me into him, lifting me slightly as our lips met again. It was raw. Electric. His coat bunched in my fists as I struggled to catch my breath, feeling myself melt into him. Completely. From that point on we had a rhythm. Ritual. Subtle glances during meetings. Fingers brushing over coffee. Deep hidden kisses behind closed blinds. Blake Harrison was no longer just my boss. He was becoming something more. Something I hadn't anticipated. One weekend he invited me to his penthouse. I hesitated, torn between reason and desire. But desire won. His home was stunning. Lofty ceilings, warm golden light, the faint scent of vanilla candles filling the air. We sat together on his couch, the city glittering behind him, and for the first time he let his guard down. "I've been alone for a long time, Sophie," he said quietly. "And maybe this, whatever it is, it's not perfect. But I don't want to lose it." "Neither do I admitted. That night, under the glow of city lights, we made love. It was slow, intense, real. He held me like he'd been waiting his whole life for me. Afterward, I lay against his chest, listening to the steady rhythm of his heart. "I never imagined my first day at work would lead to this," I whispered. He chuckled softly, brushing my hair back. "Neither did I." Things changed after that. We weren't just secret glances and tension anymore. We were something more. Something honest. Still we kept it quiet. Rumors in an office spread like wildfire. Then one afternoon I got a call from HR. My stomach dropped. Had we been seen? But it turned out to be a routine check-in. Still it shook me. A reminder of how fragile everything was. Later that week Blake called me over. We met again at his place, and this time, he handed me a small velvet box. My breath caught. "It's not a proposal," he said with a soft smile. "It's a promise." Inside was a slim silver ring. Elegant. Simple. "A promise of what?" I asked, eyes brimming. "That I'll never let you feel like a secret," he said gently. "And when the time's right, I'll make this official." I kissed him, a single tear sliding down my cheek. What started as a complicated beginning, a flirtation that walked the edge of right and wrong, had grown into something I never expected. Love. Messy, real, undeniable. Now, when I sit in his office, no longer the nervous new hire but someone he holds close, I think about how life rarely unfolds the way we plan. Sometimes the most unexpected beginnings lead to the most beautiful endings.